that was cheap back then because no one really knew about how to put websites. But now with AI, and I love to use the term, I think you said it, smart AI or smart website and everything else. I think I know everyone's going to have a lot to learn. And if people are just using Chat GPT to rewrite their narrative or simple things, you're missing, I would say, 99% of what really AI can do. So Todd, take it away. I know I will have to jump off, but Todd will share everything about what he's built, what is he doing, his journey down the rabbit hole, and running the AI committee. Plus, learning from his son Keon about how to build websites and really plugging in. And I do suggest if you are younger, right? We always say gray hair, no hair, dyed hair, right? We're kind of at the tail end, but everyone's kids, grandkids, and I even know in high school and elementary, they're starting to acclimate the kids into AI now. So it is so important for you to take a proactive stance, like financial literacy in AI to help safeguard your children's future. Working harder, AI is going to outwork us. You got to work smarter. And this is why we want to share this with everyone. Todd, take it away. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Well, wonderful to be here today and to share more about how we can leverage AI in our business as professionals. Um, is the internet okay, guys? I just want to make sure I'm in the hotel, so hopefully it's okay. Great. Um, and as we delve in today, some things, if you've been part of my AI committee, it may be repeat. For others, this will be, hopefully very insightful and new. So I'm going to put a couple of tools and referral links into the chat for everyone to be able to see and use should you desire to kind of move forward. You'll get some free credits and be able to maybe test some things without having to spend money. But I think, I've learned that we're in a world where if you have a little bit of gray hair and have some wisdom in your industry, this is one of the best times that I've seen in our lifetime to really be at the forefront of the industry. And what does that mean? It means that for the first time in history, I think we can build applications, not just an online brochure, but build true functionality around our knowledge set. Historically, when you were going to build an app or build, some form of technology, it really required, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes even millions of dollars to get an application to market and to make sure it had a large enough use case and customer base to make it work. These days, we're in a position where we can build something that could serve 100 people or 1,000 people, and it can still be profitable. And because of that, I think we're in a very unique position, specifically in the real estate industry, because we live in a world that is still very antiquated when it comes to technology. I mean, we've heard about blockchain for over a decade now. Um, and I think we've all seen opportunities where maybe the blockchain could change our industry. Even using on the residential side, the MLS, it's still a very antiquated system. It's just not something that you can just enter into nationwide to the point where many, homeowners don't see a lot of value in the MLS. They look at Zillow and other tools before they even go to an agent because you can get a lot of great information just from tools that are more what I'll say technologically advanced than the MLS. And so, we see that on the commercial real estate side, whether it's LoopNet or other tools. I just think we're in a place where if you can find a way to add value in your specific niche to your specific client, you can do that in a way that's not just let me tell you about it. It's something that you can literally say, let me show you. And so today we're going to walk through a few tools that we use, and if anyone along the way needs assistance, feel free to either join our AI committee meeting with Renaissance. We meet the first Thursday of every month at 12 p.m. Eastern time. At the same time, if you need direct help, always happy to help. You can email me, text me, call me. I may not always be available, but I'll do my very best to get back to you. And I look forward to just being of service to everyone here. So I'm going to put my email and contact in the chat as well. and feel free to reach out as well. So that being said, I'm going to share my screen, and I want to just walk through a few things that I've found to be extremely helpful for that is more than just an online brochure. So as I've gone through this last, I'll say, year and a half, it's been really interesting and very challenging, to say the least, around staying on top of the latest technology. It seems like every week or every other week, there's some new technology that's come out. If you follow AI at all over the last week, you've probably heard about something called Claude that had to change its name to Moltbot or something like that. That's essentially like an autonomous agent that can go off. It can use your computer and go off and do things for you, which is very different from what we do today with ChatGPT or traditional Claude, where we literally type, we prompt, we get an answer back, we go back and forth. Claudebot specifically can essentially have its own autonomy, use its own computer or your computer, and go out and do things for you. And so I think we live in a world where you can't just be average. You have to be extraordinary. And so, in doing so, my son and I, Keon, we started a company called Plexen. Plexen is a digital agency that's built around building smart websites, voice agents, and landing pages that are really designed for conversion. I'm going to show you a few things that we've built, not only specifically for the real estate industry, also for the investment industry. But my hope in showing you these things is to just spark your curiosity and help you to think, how can I build something that would really help me um, in my business? And more importantly, more than just helping you specifically, how will it help my target client in their business or in their lives? And so as we think about that, I think that's where the real opportunity, comes. So that being said, let me share something that I think is really unique and different from anything else and probably the most complex system that I've built so far, which is called Real Estate CFO. So our business, if you don't know much about me, I've been in the private equity space. I've managed 8 funds, about $1.3 billion. And in doing so, we ended up having to really build our own technology. And I spent lots of money, not only hiring people, but also just an infrastructure cost to really stand up some of these technologies. And many times it was just cheaper to outsource that. And I think today we're in an environment where we can start to build these things ourselves. And so I don't expect everyone on this call to become a developer, but I just want to pique your curiosity that someone with no coding background, me, was able to build these tools that I'm going to show you today without any coding background. And so, um, that being said, real estate CFO is one where I saw an opportunity for our clients who were borrowing money. We primarily lend to builders, developers, landlords, and many of them are very disorganized when it comes to their portfolio. And at the same time, many of them need to raise capital, not only debt capital, getting a loan from me, but they need equity capital and they need partners to come into deals. But they're not really prepared to go out and raise money. And so as I thought through this process, I said it would be really helpful for them to have a real estate CFO, someone that was really on top of what they have and what their future vision and plan is. And so, in doing so, we built this system that is really geared around a few core concepts. One is portfolio technology. How can I give them analytics, a dashboard, tools that really help them understand what they have at a glance, generate and create reports so they can share that with their partners, and ultimately give them command of their portfolio. Number two is access to capital, and specifically debt capital. And many of them may have multiple relationships, but they are not necessarily professional lenders in the least. And having access to not only my capital but other capital, and then being able to compare terms at a glance very quickly and have advice through that process becomes a very critical pillar for them. The third pillar would be capital raising. And so I created a program called the Capital Raising Blueprint, which really is helping them develop and deliver um, funds in a compliant way. So how can they have permanent capital for their business? Because every real estate investor, developer I've seen typically will find more deals than they have capital for. So how can I help them to access that capital? And then finally, building a community. So when you take those four pillars, it's like, how do we really do this? And so I'm going to walk you through this on the back end of what this looks like. So I'm going to go into our system, just log out and log back in just to make sure. And the tool that I use to build this, you'll see in the URL replit.com. I put a link and a referral code in the chat for you, so you can always find that here. Let me try this here. Bear with me. All right, so this is our demo client. We just landed and secured our first true investor for this technology last quarter. And but this is information I can share because it's a demo client. So here's our client. Their total portfolio value, once again, here is all based on their real estate portfolio. So about $5.8 million. We have a total net worth view, total debt view. Their liquidity comes in through a Plaid integration that we created, and then monthly cash flow, overall return on investment. And then what's really cool is now the client can dig in and say, hey, I want to be able to see my entire portfolio at a glance, what I've currently owned, what I've previously owned. And then as they want to dig deeper, all this information becomes readily available at their fingertips. So when did they buy it? What's it worth today? Some basic financial performance, lease details if it's a rental, mortgage details, expense details, market data, currently integrated with Zillow and will add more providers in the future. And then all their documents from purchase agreements, lease agreements, insurance policies, tax assessments, etc. And then they can do some additional kind of overviews, look at their accounts, their payments, some analytics around their portfolio value over time, their cash flow over time, their cap rates, look at risk, asset allocation, lots of different things. And we're going to be building out some additional AI powered predictions. And I'll give you some ideas of things that we can also do with AI that is really cool, which is starting to be very proactive around things like refinance opportunities or other things that people may typically lose out on months before they make a portfolio decision. And so being very proactive with clients, both equity and financing needs. And so what's cool now is as people come in here and then let's say they want to get financing, because we already have all of their information, it really streamlines the process. So I can literally come in here, find an existing property, what kind of loan do they need? And ultimately, all that information is going to be preloaded. And so we can now really get through the process very quickly. And if you've done any loans, you know, one of the biggest things that takes time is just document collection. We collect all this information every single month from our clients. And so in doing so, it makes the loan process for us as lenders much more streamlined. And so here's an example of something that, you know, I built without any coding experience that once again, it may seem a bit overwhelming. And to a certain extent it is, but I'll tell you, like, because of my expertise in my area, I was able to build something that I know specifically targets a niche and a need that I don't have to go identify millions of users for, but I know there's probably tens of thousands of users who need something like this, and it gives me a huge competitive advantage in the marketplace. And so, um, I'm going to walk over to another really cool technology that we built. So my core business is a private equity firm. We raise money um, for from investors who want to invest in real estate and mortgage-backed investments. And if you raise money, one of the things that we've had to do over the years is usually lug around a lot of paperwork until the advent of, say, DocuSign and other tools like that, which really made it easier to at least send out and get e-signatures. But before that, it was very manual and heavy in terms of carrying around real paperwork. Now we can do this much easier, not only because of DocuSign, but now with the way technology and the laws have changed, we can even streamline that process even further. So as we were building out and our latest offering, we needed to be able to raise money from investors very easily. So here's a tool that we built, once again, another technology where a client can come in, they can click, I'm ready to invest. They see our document in terms of our PPM. They say they've reviewed it. They now can choose their investment tier. We've really shoppified our experience where investors will pick a specific dollar amount or specific number of shares. They can come in, choose the class of share they want, continue to check out. And then from here, it really is something that is probably very familiar to people in terms of a traditional kind of checkout experience where someone can literally just come in and choose to check out. So I'm gonna just fill this out real quick. We'll choose their accreditation status. They'll put in their birthday. They'll continue to their legal agreement. They'll sign. And now they'll submit. So here is a process where this literally probably took us 2.5 minutes to make an investment into our company. Not only did they fill out their subscription agreement, sign it, get it in their email, they can literally click a button and fund this. And we've integrated with a very tech supportive bank called Mercury Bank that allows us to literally do an ACH for $1. And so I don't know if you have done many wires, which I'm sure most of us have, but wiring money typically is going to be $20 to $30 or more, not only for the sender, but many times the receiver as well. And if you want to take in small amounts of money, that can become very cost prohibitive. And so being able to come in, someone can download their invoice, ACH it, do a wire both manually here in the US or internationally. If they have an account with Mercury, they can just pay directly to their Mercury account. But here's a process that, once again, we built this technology ourselves. And so I just wanted to walk through and share those things because what we're talking about today is how can we build not only what I'll call a website, but how can we build applications, tools, functionality, things that people need where the web is doing something for us. And so as we walk through another scenario, maybe a little bit more specific to a real estate investor, let me show you a site that we built for, I didn't type the wrong one here. Give me 1 second. Let me go back. That we built for Rich Enderlin. Open this up here, and you'll see what I mean. Even as I shared something very kind of detailed as it relates to an application. But here's a site that we built for Rich that is centered around, and this um, really highlighting his experience, not only doing over $1 billion of deals individually, being broker of record over $5 billion worth of deals, but very importantly, like creating serious calls to action along the way around submitting criteria if you're a buyer, having access to, specific deals, the deal of the month, getting the offering memorandums, subscribing to a hot sheet where maybe someone wants to be first to know about new deals. He works in the distressed area and asset advisory, so how can they join a priority list? Um, so having additional resources that are beneficial to his target audience, whether it be a 1031 exchange guide. Lots of people have been moving out of his market from California. Where are they moving money to? And so being able to create tools and resources that are really important, but making sure that we're along the way gathering information for, contact information for these reports. So I can pull this in, um, but now the client's going to get this report, but at the same time, we gathered something that's really important, which is starting to build that relationship from clients in exchange for their email. And so, as we look at this, it's saying, hey, how can we not only do something really, I'll call it basic, but which is more than just an online brochure? How can we have the website start to gather information and then from there create a system of automations that start to streamline our marketing efforts, start to streamline our contacts. So, allowing Rich to not only get this information, but then getting a text, getting an email, putting this person into a drip campaign, making sure that we understand that people are reaching out to us for knowledge in exchange for their contact information. And so that's just a very specific example that we can use in the real estate space. Um, let me just make sure. Any questions here? And then finally, I'm going to walk through a few tools that we use. Not only did I think I, mentioned Replit here, but Replit is very similar to a chat GPT. I won't spend a ton of time here, but what I do want to show you is that you can literally, the same way you go to ChatGPT and say, I want to build something, you can just say, hey, please help me um, build a um, custom website for um, my real estate practice, right? And so obviously, I didn't give it a very detailed prompt, but this is what I would suggest. Instead of just taking something simple like that, take what you want to do and take it to your favorite LLM, whether it's Claude or ChatGPT, and just say, tell it what you want to do, and it's going to speak in computer language to the other computer, right? So I'll say, hey, I want to build um second, I want to build a new website for my real estate practice. I work in the Florida and North, you know, Carolina markets. Um, I am focused on commercial real estate, or you could say um, residential real estate, whatever it is. And I mainly work in the multifamily space. I am using Replit as my AI code agent to help me design and build this site. I want it to be state of the art and look highly professional, have important calls to action that help me to stay in touch with new leads and prospects. Please help me write a detailed prompt for Replit to execute. So this has probably been one of the main things that I found that has streamlined my process and helped me to become a better editor is taking the time to have a good if not great prompt before it goes into these other tools. Not only will you save a lot of money, but you'll save a lot of time trying to clean up because you started with a bad prompt, right? And so here we'll let Claude kind of walk through this. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll even take something like what I did here with Claude, and I may even go to another LLM because sometimes another model will just give me a different answer, right? And give me some new ideas. So I'll paste that same exact prompt into ChatGPT, and then I'll let ChatGPT do the same thing. So let's see. I'm not sure why this is not going through. Um, anyway, we'll just bypass ChatGPT for now. But I suggest that for you to sometimes just take your time to try to get ideas and good prompt for you. So it's already suggested some colors. It's already suggested, um, visual styles, topography, homepage, about page, services page, track record, all of these different things, lead capture, calls to action. And you can see compared to what I was originally going to put in here, this prompt that Claude gave me is much more detailed, all the way down to actually providing some basic structure around how this should be. And I may look at this and say, you know what, maybe my colors aren't deep navy and gold. Maybe it's like, hey, I want something different. Please help me um, choose some different colors that are more vibrant, as I really do stand out from the crowd. All right, so it's giving me some new ideas here. And let's say I'm going to go with the, what recommendation are they giving? Option 3 or 4? 3 or 4. I'm going to go with I'll go with option 3, sunset orange and deep blue. All right, so I'll say, please update the entire prompt um, to use option 4. And if you like this kind of interaction that we're going through today, I would definitely encourage you guys to join the AI committee. Our next meeting is literally tomorrow at 12 o'clock. But we do things just like this, whether it's tools that I currently use or tools that other people have found that really help us all. So now what I can do is I can literally take this entire prompt. I think it's still running through. I'll let this finish. As you can imagine, as you look at this, there's no way we would have thought to write all of this stuff in our prompt. And this, like I said, is probably the key to having something that is already 90% better than everyone else. Let's get up here and start copying. See, it even came up with some mobile responsiveness, overall structure. We gave it kind of build sequences and phases to go through. So yeah, I'm gonna copy all of this because it's a lot. And where's my copy button? Should be a copy button at the bottom. Copy. And now we'll go in here. We'll paste this entire thing, and we'll just hit start. So Replic's going to go out and start working on this, and I just did it in design mode. There's two modes there, design and application. So in this case, I'm going to put top agent um, nation example CRE site, right? And now let this go do this. And this is just going to help us get a look and feel. Building the full app will take obviously more time than just what we're doing here, but this will be a good start and help us to see something that is really really cool and different. So I'm going to share one more tool in a second, but I really want to emphasize something. As you look at this, many times you'll see what is being built, and it just feels like overwhelming. And I do want to just show, share a couple things, just about me, my background, and the like, because today, I run a private equity firm, and I never had anything related to learning coding or even money management, growing up. But to have been in this position, to have done over 8 funds, um, over $1 billion worth of transactions, going to Johns Hopkins and Stanford and working at some of the top firms on Wall Street. It didn't start from just having all of this experience and having access to all these resources and tools or even money. And so I share this because I just want you all to know, like, you can do this. This is where I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, and to think that I'm where I am today, just is a testament to all of us, being able to accomplish far more than we ever really dream or think is possible. And so just want to encourage everyone, if you're listening or watching this, to, like, don't be afraid of these things. Like, take some time and you'll do far more than you ever thought possible just by stepping in. And it really is like a compounding effect. It's, everything doesn't happen overnight. I mean, I have tried so many tools. The tools that I'm sharing with you today, like Replit, that's after I tried 4 or 5 other tools to get to one that I found that really worked for me. And you may find, hey, Replit isn't the best one for you. Maybe there's another one, but just get started. And I think there's even a slide in my presentation that I passed over, which is, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, right? And I just encourage you to take that single step. As we talk about investing as an example, I teach or used to teach some young men, and I was really convicted at the time because they were between 18 and 22 years old, and they wanted to learn about investing, and then it's like all of them, we just had a conversation, said, could you all save $100 a month? And they all said yes. And you look at it, it's like, hey, that $100 a month compounding over time would allow them to all be millionaires, right? And I think it's the same with the things that we're talking about. It's like, hey, just take the time, and slowly but surely the compounding effect, really grows. And what seems like very little in the beginning, over time just grows to be something much bigger, much greater than anything we ever expected. And so um, today, without trying to overwhelm you too much, you have 2 tools that I just encourage you to really focus on, which I put in the chat, one being Replit, and the other one, which I'll share now, is called Manus. So Manus is like a general agent. It can really do a lot for you as well. So I use Manus, more to, what's the best way to put it? It can, like, create presentations, or it can do things that I just find, it can build websites. It can actually develop some apps as well, but it just makes it a little bit easier to do just a little bit more than you would otherwise do with ChatGPT, is the way I would think of it. Like, Manus has other tools available to it, so it can access, let's say, Nano Banana to create an image or what have you. And so I may say, like, um, help me design a personal, you know, website Or even more importantly, let's just say like today, if I was having a presentation like we're doing today, say, I'm leading a presentation today for Top Agent Nation, um, and I am teaching, on the topic of leverage AI in your real estate business. I don't want this presentation to be too long or heavy. I want this to be something easily digestible and actionable so that the audience can learn and implement real practices that build their um, abilities quickly, right? And I'll just say, um, please create a slide deck um, that is highly visual um, and will showcase Claude, um, Replit, and what else did I use? Oh, Manus as great tools to use. And let's just take out Claude. We'll just say Replit and Manus. And I'll even say here are some referral links. I would like a QR code for people to easily connect with me and to get the link to um, Replit and Manus. And then I'll just give it, my contact information, Billings, 305, Todd at Capital. And then I think I put in the chat, I think I put these two codes. I'll even grab this. I'll paste this in here. And I'll send this off and I'll let Manus go do what Manus does, right? And let's go back now, see how Replit's doing. It looks like it's still working, but if we look through here, you can see it's already generating images. Um, it's done quite a bit. Probably we gave it a very detailed prompt, so probably it's going to take a little bit longer than I anticipated, just given the level of the prompt that we gave. But I hope to have something pretty attractive at the end there. And you can see here, Manus is already going out and researching AI applications. It's searching for practical AI applications, specifically in real estate. It's reading articles for us. Um, it's reading some specific things that I have put in here. It's kind of like I don't like a lot of emojis and things that I put to make sure it doesn't give me those outputs. But as you can see, I'll pause here. I don't know if anyone has any questions while these things kind of run, but hopefully in the last 5 minutes or so, we'll have some real outputs that you can see that we did in a very short period of time. Neither one will be completely final, but it'll totally speed up your everyday process and workflow. So I'm going to pause and just see if there's any questions here. All right, I guess not. Let me check on these. All right, here we go. Looks like we're already a getting something on our side. It's still finishing up some work here, but looking pretty good so far. All right. And here we go. And I'm gonna open this up so you can see it without the chat window on the side. Um, but you can see, and let's see how long that literally took us. Worked for 10 minutes, right? Um, I know the last time you got a highly, kind of a beautiful looking, you know, starting site in 10 minutes, but here you go. I mean, is it perfect? I think second, I think I crashed my window here. A lot of a lot of things running. Bear with me one second. There you go. Apologize for that. I'm working out of a hotel today, and I think I just crashed everything. So but you can see here, multifamily. We told them we are in the multifamily investment space, um, built for decisive owners. We told them about the markets. Obviously, there's a few things here that probably need to be adjusted. I don't know why it has the backslash 2014. But those are things that we can prompt out and correct. Talking about population inflows, job growth in North Carolina, specific neighborhoods and areas, and and they built us a really beautiful designed website, just as a great starting point. Schedule an appointment. Obviously, we can change all this to our liking. Maybe this transparency is not the most readable, but those are things that we can quickly fix and prompt away. And then let's see where Manus is at. Looks like it's on step 2 of 4. It's generating the QR codes. It's done its research, and then I guess next it's going to create a slide deck and then deliver this. So what I love about Manus is it's literally using multiple tools to go accomplish these things at the same time. So not only did it go research and start preparing the slide, it went and generated QR codes and gathering some visual assets. It's now creating the actual deck, and then it's going to deliver this final presentation. So I think what you see is like in very short order, we can leverage our time as professionals in such a way that probably historically has not been so easy to do. And so um, I would just encourage everyone to like just dig into these tools because you can do far more than you probably ever thought possible. One thing that sometimes I'll do even is I'll literally just watch the computer. So you can literally look at Manus and what it's doing on its computer, which can be, eye-opening. And you can see here it's literally laid out all the slides. It's creating 14 slides. Um, and I found like out of all the tools, like it just creates something that actually looks fairly presentable from the first presentation. It'll even allow you to download it in PDF, download it into PowerPoint, or open it into like Google Slides where you can edit it further. You can do some editing right here, right within Manus, which is great. Um, but outside of that, it's really cool. So I think this will be the last kind of thing. You can see it's already starting to generate some the first slide. We're already now pulling in second slide, but you'll see like you can literally just present right from here, which I just think is truly, it's just amazing to say the least. Things that historically would have taken us, hours to do, we can do in a very short period of time. So I'm going to pause. We'll let this kind of final presentation run. We can take one final look at the end. But that's what we have for today. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully encourage you to really just be hands-on, not be afraid of these tools, but to be very hands-on and know that you can build and do things yourself, just as a knowledgeable, real estate professional. You have a lot to offer, and these are just tools. You don't, a lot of people are afraid of AI, and I tell people this is not about necessarily, um, letting AI control your life or anything like that. It's really just saying, hey, this is a tool that I can use the same way you use Google, same way you use a calculator. Calculators aren't bad. They really speed up your calculations. And so um, we'll go. You're very welcome, Mike. Um, I don't know if there's any questions, but if not, I think, Alejandro, that's probably all that I have for today. I
Thank
will
you, Todd.
share Yeah, we'll share the presentation, obviously, as something that, people can just look at the final output. I won't make you stay on for the next, 3, 4 minutes to watch Manus do it. But I think it's just amazing, like I said, what these tools can do. And I would encourage you, if you have a need, you're like, hey, I don't have time to do this. I'm really busy, or I just don't have the desire to do it. My son and I, built Plexen specifically for that. We made it very inexpensive, for our group in particular here, to be able to just have a smart website. So if that's something that's of interest, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to connect you with my son Keon, and he can help you with getting your smart website going, and or any applications as it relates to what we're talking about, um, to see how we can help you there.
Thank you so much, Todd. Yes, James had to drop off the call today, but we do really appreciate everything you shared. And for everyone who joined maybe a little later and you want to watch the full recording, you can go to subscribe-to-tan.com and we will send you the recording from there. And again, thank you, Todd, so much for sharing this with us today.
Awesome. Thanks, Alejandra. I'll send you the final output of the presentation. We can add that to the repository. And if anyone, like I said, has any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. Always willing to help you guys. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.